Right now at 5, the city of Joplin holds a news conference to discuss storm damage and cleanup.
Now we have another alert day today. We're looking at thunderstorm chances, severe thunderstorms. All hazards are possible yet again. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
Plus, the city of Carthage has another mess to clean up just weeks after a previous storm damaged the city square.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. So, of course, we got the confirmation yesterday. Survey teams came out. We did have a weak tornado, yes. EF0, EF1 in Joplin, which is not surprising. Based on the damage, the reports we saw, there was this kind of a specific path that it took. So not surprising there. I know we're going to have a lot more on that damage here this morning.
Absolutely, yes, we will.
Unfortunately, we have an alert day because we have another potential round of thunderstorms. However, this one's a little different. We're expecting severe thunderstorm development within the next about 2 hours. So an early morning event for us, a little unusual, but not uncommon. So let's start with a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Right now, not a lot out there, but the model data has been fairly consistent about thunderstorm development within the next 2 hours, give or take a few minutes on either side across southeastern Kansas. We have one storm out there right now up by Emporia. It's not strong, it's not severe. It's outside of our immediate area, but it is one storm so far, and it went up pretty quickly. When we take a look at the loop, you can see it kind of just pop up within the last 15, 20 minutes out there. So we'll continue to monitor southeast Kansas. This is the zone where we're expecting initial development to take place. These storms will lift off to the east and kind of be pushed off to the lift to the northeast, but be pushed easterly as we go through the morning. So here's a look at what we're expecting severe hazard wise. We do have a low to elevated tornado risk, primarily into southwestern Missouri. It does clip parts of Kansas and into northeastern Oklahoma, but you can see here, and if you look, Dade County, just barely clipping us, an enhanced risk for tornadoes. But the greater severe threats expected to our east with a second round of storms later this afternoon. Then we do have an enhanced hail risk out there. We have the significant hail. Large hail is the primary concern. So we're talking the potential for hail 2 inches in diameter or larger. But we also have a elevated to enhanced risk for damaging wind gusts and a hash mark area for potentially significant winds, 70 miles an hour or greater. So we're going to keep a close eye on development through this morning. We are into the upper 50s, a lot of low 60s, and further south we've got some upper 60s. We're near 70 in Grove right now this morning. Kids getting on the bus. By the time they get toward that bus time, we're looking at scattered thunderstorms, 67, south breeze about 10 to 20. When the bus comes home, there's 2 rounds of storms. This first round this morning, another possible this afternoon. So there's going to be a bit of a pause. Partly cloudy, breezy, 77, southwest winds gusting to 30. That pause again happens right around 2, 3 o'clock, and we'll see some redevelopment later this evening, but this will be a lot more isolated. We're going to go over all the details on our thunderstorm chances today and how the rest of the week into the weekend is shaping up here in a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, some Joplin residents spent yesterday dealing with the aftermath of Monday night's storms. Consequences not only on their property, but some of them also on their emotions.
I guess I never completely got over the other one. But it's okay. We're here and we're alive.
Joplin resident Margaret Mosley feels the tension when severe weather hits the area.
We got nervous and everything, and then we finally decided wasn't anything we could do then because we had no electricity. I had a spell with my heart. I couldn't get 911. It rang and no one answered.
But once again, the storm's impact on them is not only emotional. Her and her husband spent the morning cleaning debris outside with their kids and in-laws. The Mosleys were also joined by their next-door neighbor in efforts for cleaning, as Evelyn Steele also had damage to her property.
I heard this loud crashing, and I noticed that we had water all over in the kitchen, and water was coming down through the ceiling, through the walls, and then I looked out and saw that we had windows broken, and we had this 2x4 that went through our kitchen.
Celie spent the day after the storm without power, but she's not alone. According to Liberty, 7,200 locations in Joplin lost power during the peak of the storm. Joplin city officials' crews were out at full force Monday night and were still assessing the damage into Tuesday. Now, they ask for caution.
I would encourage all of those citizens in Joplin, especially those in the affected area, to remain calm. Help is on the way and assistance will be provided to you.
I know you're going to want to get out and do things at your residence, but I would ask that you give way to Liberty and to Spire so that they can get their jobs done. We can get things back up and running as quick as we can.
Official shares with residents not only the hope of having things working well soon, but also the thankfulness for having no injuries reported.
Well, nobody was injured. That's the main thing, you know. Damage is material that can all be replaced, but as long as nobody's injured, it's going to all be okay.
In Joplin, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The area also lost 50 power poles that will have to be replaced. Well, since daybreak yesterday, Duquesne, Missouri residents have also been cleaning up the mess left by the storm. Power lines were scattered along yards and residents used chainsaws to cut up fallen trees and clear neighborhood roads. Some say cleanup is going to take weeks, but they're working together.
Yeah, this is the tree. I looked out my window as I saw it like lightning and stuff, and I heard the noise. I looked out real quick. I saw it and it kind of picked up and just fell down. And I saw like that, and it came down with the power line. But it's kind of scary, and that's when I ran and got my mom.
The mayor of Duquesne says the damage must reach a certain amount before the town can be eligible for disaster relief. So now citizens are left to their own devices to clean up the aftermath. Just weeks after Carthage saw damaging winds, residents are once again cleaning up storm damage. Monday night storms brought down trees across the area, many of which fell onto roadways, cars, and even homes. The Carthage Water and Electric Plant says the storms also caused extensive damage to their system. Crews have been out since last night addressing down power lines across the area. The Carthage School District canceled classes yesterday due to power outages and storm damage. Before the storm system hit our area, it leveled the town of Barnsdall, Oklahoma. The town's mayor says at least one person is dead and at least 8 others are injured. 30 to 40 homes were damaged and about 24 people were left without shelter. Down power lines, a gas leak, and debris are making roadways dangerous. Monday night's tornado was the second Barnsdall has seen in just over a month. Once it moved past our area, the storms caused damage in Willard, Missouri, near Springfield. The National Weather Service also reports an EF0 tornado tracked from just northwest of Willard to the northeast before lifting near Fair Grove. Maximum winds hit 80 miles per hour. That tornado left one person injured and it damaged 2 homes. Let's look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. 2 of our local softball teams in Southwest Missouri host district championship games. Plus, President Biden welcomes the Romanian president to the White House yesterday. And we're tracking thunderstorms for today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back.
There's my dad.
For Independence, Kansas, and Joplin or Butler, Missouri.
Well, yesterday was district championship night for Missouri high school softball in classes 1 and 2. 3 of our local teams play for a championship. Liberal hosting Lockwood and Mount Vernon playing Diamond. Liberal softball at home facing Lockwood in the district championship. Bulldogs are trailing 3-1 in the 5th. And that is when Taylor Swarns hammers this pitch to dead center. And that is gone for a solo home run. Deficit is cut to 1. So later in the inning, Ava Garrett, the freshman, hits a line drive into right field. That brings in 2 more. Liberal scores 4 runs in the 5th to take a 5-3 lead. Top of the 7th, Jordan Goodell picks up her 500th career strikeout, which brings Liberal 1 out away. Next batter, Grayson Clausen, hits this over the center fielder's head. A run scores. The tying run is now at 3rd. Go-ahead run on 2nd. Another chance for Goodell to close it out. And she does. Goodell picks up career strikeout number 501 for the final out. Liberal wins the district championship 5-4 and advances to the state quarterfinals next week.
I was pretty excited where we were in the lineup. I just knew that with my defense and just trusting them, I knew that we were going to get out of that some way, even if we got up a tying run, gave that up. I just felt I trusted our offense and defense, and I just knew that it was going to go well for us.
Mount Vernon meets Diamond in the Class 2 District 6 Championship. Early in the game, Taylon Reeder hits one sharply to third base, scooped up and sent back home to get the out. Reeder in the circle for the Lady Wildcats, and she was great. She gets Cheyenne Bieber to strike out swinging. Then a bunt by Emily Schubert is thrown to first in plenty of time. Close game throughout, but Diamond wins 5-3. The Lady Wildcats improve their record to 35-1, remain unbeaten against teams from Missouri, and they win the district championship.
We had a pretty tough season, and we had some really close games, but we kept at it. And then we went over to Frontenac and got a little reality check, and now we're back at it. So we'll just keep going. Oh my gosh, I'm just so excited. I'm so proud of my girls.
Last Monday, the Thunder completed a 4-game sweep of the Pelicans in the first round of the NBA playoffs. OKC hasn't had to play again until last night, Game 1 of the Western Conference semifinals against the Mavericks. The Oklahoma City Thunder go on to win this one with a final score of 117-95. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander led the way with 24 points. Chet Holmgren has chipped in 14 of his own as well. Well, still to come, Panera Bread is eliminating charged lemonade from its menu due to multiple lawsuits. Plus, got to check out that stormy forecast on this Alert Day Wednesday when the KOAM Morning News returns.
This Memorial Day at Furniture.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 5:17 on this Wednesday Alert Day here in the 4 states, and that is because we have yet again the potential for strong to severe thunderstorms across portions of the area. Right now, nothing out there in our immediate area on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. We have one little thunderstorm popped up near Emporia. It is continuing to lift off to the northeast. However, all the model data seems to be relatively consistent about some additional thunderstorm development. So here's that cell. It's not strong, it's not severe, it is outside of our immediate area of concern, and it's kind of paralleling 335 up toward Lawrence right now. It is the only thing that's out there. But again, model data suggests, and it's been consistent, for some thunderstorm development rather rapidly across portions of southeastern Kansas by about 7 o'clock this morning, give or take a minute on either side. And we're looking at the possibility of 2 different rounds of thunderstorms. We have this early morning batch, which is rare but not completely unusual for us. That could be strong to severe. And then again this afternoon. So we do have a low to elevated tornado risk across the area. And again, the greater severe threats are primarily on the Missouri side. Now, yes, they do extend back into southeastern Kansas and of course northeastern Oklahoma. But when I show you the forecast data, you'll see what we're talking about. And we do have this enhanced tornado risk just barely clipping Dade County. The greater severe risk expected to our east this afternoon. We do have an elevated to enhanced risk for hail, damaging hail, 2 inches in diameter or greater is the primary concern with these storms today. That's why we have the hatched area out there that does extend into Pittsburgh, Columbus, down toward Miami and Grove, and back into Missouri. And we have an elevated to enhanced risk for damaging winds with the hash marks down across southwest Missouri and into northwest Arkansas for winds 70, 75 miles an hour or greater out there. So we have the 2 rounds. We have one this morning that's expected again to develop by about 7, and it should continue into the early afternoon hours. So here we are at noon, still thunderstorms out there, still that threat for severe weather. Then there's some different data, some conflicting data, but we're expecting a pause this afternoon in thunderstorm activity and then redevelopment by about, say, 3, 4 o'clock, and we'll see additional thunderstorms. That redevelopment expected mainly on the Missouri side by, say, again, 4 this afternoon, and it'll be out of here by about 6. So that's where the second round comes in. That second round is what's going to bring some more intense severe weather, especially to our east. But both rounds of thunderstorms could be severe. Now, once we get past that and head into our Thursday, we've got a few days of much calmer conditions out there. Temperatures 58, the cool spot up in Iola. Otherwise, low to mid 60s for most of us. But as you head a little further south and west, take a look. Veneta, Grove, both near 70 this morning. We're bringing in some instability from down south. They had some severe weather across Arkansas last night. That moisture, that instability is going to be pushed in by some gusty south winds this morning, and that's what's going to give us the fuel for these thunderstorms. So scattered storms through the morning, some strong, potentially severe, and about 75 by 11. As we head into the afternoon, again, we're expecting that pause, but will otherwise be partly cloudy. Because, again, these thunderstorms are going to be isolated. They'll be confined out there. But the ones we see could be strong to severe. And we're looking at highs upper 70s again, right around 80. The last of the storm starts to clear out by about 6, 7 o'clock. We clear out completely after that. Skies will be clear. Most of Kansas will be clear long before this. That second round shouldn't really impact southeast Kansas or northeastern Oklahoma at all. And we'll fall back into the low 50s, maybe even some upper 40s out there. We'll be in the mid 70s tomorrow. A few clouds tomorrow and Friday. Pretty decent Saturday for us. Maybe a shower or two Sunday. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Then we have more thunderstorm chances as we head into next week. That's checking your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Are you tired of caulk at FlexSealProducts.com?
Topping Health Watch this morning. A federal judge smacked down threats by Alabama's Republican Attorney General to prosecute groups that help women obtain out-of-state abortions. Some of those groups sued Attorney General Steve Marshall after he suggested prosecuting groups that aid and abet abortions, including those who help women travel out of state. This comes as red states have banned or severely limited access to the procedure since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. That has forced many women to cross state lines to gain access to an abortion. The judge called interstate travel one of our most fundamental constitutional rights, adding that Alabama cannot restrict people from going to another state to engage in what is lawful there. A spokesperson for AG Marshall did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Panera Bread is eliminating charged lemonade from its menu. The caffeinated beverage has sparked multiple lawsuits and caused a public relations nightmare for the company. According to Bloomberg, the charged lemonades will come off the menu in the next 2 weeks. Panera has faced at least 3 lawsuits over the lineup of controversial drinks in recent months. Plaintiffs claimed high levels of caffeine in the product led to the death of 2 customers and irreversible health complications in another. The charged lemonades lineup was introduced in 2022. It's the most common cancer in the U.S., but despite its prevalence, experts say there are many myths when it comes to skin cancer. Mandy Gaither separates fact from fiction in honor of Skin Cancer Awareness Month.
It's a potentially deadly disease, but experts say skin cancer misconceptions aren't rare, and neither is the cancer itself. An estimated 5 million Americans are diagnosed with a form of cancer every year, according to the American Cancer Society.
Most of those skin cancers are not melanoma, but there are about 100,000, a little more than 100,000 new cases of melanoma that'll be diagnosed in just 2024 alone.
Dr. Shanthi Savendran with the American Cancer Society says melanoma is the deadliest form of the disease and awareness is critical. She says one big myth is that the sun is the only cause of this disease. While the majority of harmful ultraviolet rays come from the sun, a person can also be exposed in other ways, including by tanning beds and sun lamps. And that leads to another misconception: getting a base tan doesn't prevent future sunburns.
So there's really no sort of safe way to tan. There's no safe UV rays.
Savendran says many people also believe skin cancer can't develop on darker skin, but she says anyone can get the disease regardless of their skin type or color. Some may believe that skin cancer is easy to spot, but that's not necessarily true either.
Skin cancer can show up on the skin in a variety of different ways, different colors, different shapes, different sizes. And that can be also relative to the type of skin or the coloring of your skin.
That's why Savendran says it's important to have a good sense of what your skin looks like, inspect it often, and talk to your doctor if you see any changes. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The American Cancer Society says another myth is when people wear sunscreen and think they can stay in the sun as long as they want. Experts recommend using a proper amount of broad-spectrum sunscreen rated 30 SPF or higher that's reapplied at least every 2 hours. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves a clear and breezy start to the day, but we have an alert day today with severe thunderstorms expected in the next couple of hours. Well, latest on your forecast when we come back.
In Joplin.
Right now at 5:30, a serious head-on crash takes the life of a Carthage resident.
And we do have an alert day again today. Strong to severe thunderstorms possible this morning and maybe again this afternoon. We'll take a look at your forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Joplin School District issued a news release explaining the actions the district took Monday night to open safe rooms.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. So again, we had the survey teams out yesterday making assessments. Did have a confirmed tornado that touched down in Joplin, EF0 to EF1, so maximum winds of 95, and another tornado just west of Carthage, right in that same scale zone as well, both from the same storm. And that was just part of the severe weather event that we had the other night. And unfortunately today, we have that opportunity for strong to potentially severe thunderstorms once again. So let's start with a look at the Skywatch Storm Tracker. Right now, in our immediate area, it's calm, it's clear, and it's breezy. And those winds bringing in some more moist, unstable air out of the south, and that's going to overspread the area and provide that fuel for additional thunderstorm development. And the model data has been relatively consistent. So we did have, we'll talk about that. We had this storm here that is now tracking a little faster off to the north and east. So just getting outside of Lawrence and near Topeka. Not strong, not severe, kind of falling apart out there. But what we're waiting for is what the model data suggests, and what seems to be relatively consistent is thunderstorm development, rather rapid thunderstorm development across parts of southeastern Kansas right around 7 this morning, give or take a few minutes on either side. But by about 7, we'll see thunderstorms kind of take off in southeastern Kansas, and then they're expected to intensify rather quickly, and we could see some strong to severe thunderstorms this morning, and then another round, much more isolated round this afternoon into southwest Missouri. So across the area, we do have an elevated tornado threat. We do have an elevated to enhanced hail risk with these hash marks indicating the possibility of significant hail, and we have an elevated to enhanced wind risk out there, and those hash marks there indicating the potential for very strong winds. We'll break down the severe threat today in detail in the full forecast in just a moment. To get you out the door, though, we got upper 50s in parts of southeast Kansas, low 60s out there, low 60s into Missouri, and as you head a little further south and west, upper 60s. We've had temperatures close to 70 in Oklahoma this morning. 67, thunderstorms when the kids get on the bus, at least scattered storms, south breeze 10 to 20. Then we have that pause this afternoon, so partly cloudy when the bus brings them home, breezy 77, southwest winds gusting to 30. That pause between about, say, 2 and maybe 3 or 4 this afternoon, and we'll see additional isolated storms this afternoon, early evening in southwest Missouri. Highs today, upper 70s, and again, that threat for strong to severe thunderstorms. We'll go over all that in detail and both of these rounds of storms, plus what happens once they clear out here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Authorities make an arrest in a gunfire incident in Parsons yesterday morning. Parsons Police Department responded to that call in the 3100 block of Crawford Avenue. According to the report, the incident occurred after an altercation between a Parsons resident and a Pittsburgh man. The Pittsburgh man ran away following the gunshot. Parsons police say they found him in Pittsburgh with the help of Pittsburgh police. He was arrested by Parsons officers and formal charges are pending. Tuesday evening, a serious head-on crash occurred in Carthage on River Street. Deputy Sergeant Aaron McCamick tells KOAM a white passenger car crossed the center of the roadway and struck an oncoming SUV. Both drivers were rushed to area hospitals and one did not survive. Carthage police utilized drone technology for crash mapping reconstruction as part of their investigation. Next of kin have been notified, and we anticipate an update from Carthage police later today. The Joplin School District yesterday issued a news release explaining the actions the district took Monday night to open safe rooms. The district says safe rooms around the district open automatically at 11:16 p.m. in response to a tornado warning in the county. However, the safe room for Joplin High School did not open at that time, apparently because of a malfunction. A safe room supervisor manually unlocked that door at 11:22 p.m. You can find the district's entire news release, including the current policy, at KOAMnewsnow.com. Drivers headed down Connecticut Avenue in Joplin should look for a detour in the coming days. Crews yesterday closed Connecticut Avenue to traffic between 33rd and 36th Streets to install multiple stormwater crossings beneath the road. The road will be open at the end of each workday, and the closure will resume each morning. Work is expected to last through the end of the week. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The fate of TikTok remains on unstable grounds with a recent law spelling out the app's demise. Plus, Russian President Vladimir Putin was sworn in for a 5th term. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Louis Cardinals.
Topping World Watch, the fate of TikTok in the U.S. remains on unstable grounds with the recent law spelling out the app's demise if its Chinese parent company doesn't find a new owner. But as the clock ticks down, TikTok is fighting back. Ted Lindner takes a closer look at the company's new lawsuit.
Fighting for survival. TikTok and its Chinese parent company filing a lawsuit against the U.S. Tuesday. This in an effort to block a new law that could ban the social media app in America if it's not sold to a new buyer.
It forces ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns TikTok, to sell the U.S. Version of TikTok to a company that isn't Chinese within 9 months. Now, this could be extended to 1 year if a sale is already in progress.
President Joe Biden recently signed the law, which was included in a massive foreign aid bill to several U.S. allies. It received bipartisan support in the House and Senate, with lawmakers on both sides saying TikTok poses national security risks.
Since TikTok is used by a Chinese company, they worried that China could access sensitive data on Americans that is collected by TikTok.
TikTok officials calling the law an unconstitutional attack, adding the U.S. has provided no evidence the app is a threat.
They're trying to make it about free speech. This bill was focused on national security, that TikTok is a destructive tool pointed at the United States of America and especially our children.
No constitutional right to own property when it is against the national security.
TikTok's parent company currently has no plans to sell.
ByteDance has said that the Chinese government will not agree to a sale of TikTok's U.S. operations.
If TikTok loses the lawsuit and refuses to find a new owner, it would spell an end to the app across the country.
The parents of 2 Australian surfers killed in Mexico, paying tribute to their children in California yesterday. Deborah Robinson and her husband speaking to journalists in San Diego. Their sons Caleb and Jake were killed in April by thieves in Baja California across the border from San Diego. A third man, American Jack Carter Road, was also killed. Robinson mourning the senseless loss of her sons. The town in which they were killed in is said to be a popular tourist destination but has been plagued by incidents of cartel violence. President Biden welcomes the Romanian president to the White House yesterday. President Klaus Iohannis and President Biden celebrating Romania's 20th year in NATO. The two world leaders also discussing their shared interest in providing assistance for the nation of Ukraine as they battle Russian aggression. Biden and Johannes are expected to speak on a host of topics such as energy, shared democratic values, and economic cooperation. Russian President Vladimir Putin was sworn in for a 5th term yesterday. It comes as another American citizen is detained in Russia. Senior Foreign Affairs correspondent Greg Palcott has more.
Vladimir Putin beginning a 5th term as Russia's president on Tuesday. He was sworn in during a highly choreographed ceremony at the Kremlin Palace that was boycotted by many Western officials who dismissed Russia's election as a sham.
We certainly did not consider that election free and fair, but he is the president of Russia and is going to continue in that capacity.
The 71-year-old has been in charge for nearly a quarter century. His recent time in office has been marked by the war on Ukraine and Western sanctions that forced Russia to turn to China, North Korea, and Iran for support. On Tuesday, Putin vowed to achieve Moscow's goals on the battlefield.
The security interests of Russian people will continue to be above all. We will determine the fate of Russia for the sake of today's and future generations.
Putin's last term also featured a growing crackdown on political dissent, as well as Russia's detention of multiple American citizens. On Tuesday, a Russian court announced it would hold American soldier Staff Sergeant Gordon Black in custody until at least July on theft charges. An Army spokesperson says the 34-year-old was detained last week during a personal trip, one he did not request official clearance to take.
What can Putin get by taking a soldier? And as long as they only see upside to hostage diplomacy, they're going to keep doing it.
Putin's new term does not expire until 2030, when he will be constitutionally eligible to run again.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Injured, you can get the help you need because we are here for you.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Coming up on 5:45 now on this Wednesday morning. It is an alert day here in the 4 states for the possibility of another round of strong to severe thunderstorms. Take a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. You may remember the last weather update we brought you. The only thing we had was that cell that fired up by Emporia and raced up toward Lawrence. Now we've got this guy up in Anderson County, and he's gone up pretty quick. Within about the last 10 minutes, this little thunderstorm, this little thunder shower here, it's not a thunderstorm fully yet, but it is getting going up around Garnett, just to the north of Ozark. And if we take a look at the loop, it really went up within the last 10 to 12 minutes. And it went up pretty quickly. That's what we're talking about. That's what the model data is suggesting. A little more widespread thunderstorm development over the next about hour and 15 minutes across southeastern Kansas. And once these storms go up, they're expected to go up pretty quickly, and they're expected to intensify. We're bringing in some instability with some gusty southwest winds out there, and that's what's going to give us the possibility of some strong to severe thunderstorms this morning. And then we have another potential round, much more isolated, as we head into the afternoon. So here's a look at our severe threats. We do have a low to elevated tornado threat primarily into southwestern Missouri, but it does clip parts of southeast Kansas and into northeastern Oklahoma, so that does include Miami, Grove, Galena, Pittsburgh, Nevada, and then we do have a slight enhanced risk, just barely clipping parts of Dade County. The greater severe threat at this point still expected to our west. Our bigger concerns are for hail and for damaging winds. We have an elevated to enhanced risk for hail. These hash marks extending back into Kansas and Oklahoma, indicating the possibility of very large hail, so 2 inches in diameter or greater. And then we have the elevated to enhanced wind risk with hash marks across mainly into Missouri for winds that could be 75 miles an hour, potentially greater out there. And we have 2 rounds of storms. We have this first round this morning. It'll develop across southeastern Kansas and start to push off to the southeast. So here we are at noon. As you can see, these are going to be scattered. This isn't like the other night where we're expecting a squall line of storms that will impact everybody. These will be isolated to scattered thunderstorms out there. That pushes through, and then by about 4 o'clock, we'll see redevelopment, most of this into southwest Missouri on the second round. And so by 4 or 5, here's another round of thunderstorms. Again, isolated to scattered and primarily into southwestern Missouri, but these could be strong to severe as well. And that will eventually develop into a line that will swing across or push east across the Missouri and into Arkansas later this afternoon. So by about 8 o'clock, as you can see, we're done with thunderstorms, but the ones that we see could be strong to severe, but will clear out rather quickly. Temperatures around the area, again with that southwesterly flow, southeast winds even across some of the area this morning. It is warmer down across northeastern Oklahoma, pushing close to 70 degrees. A little cooler off to the north, low to mid 60s, but this flow is what's bringing in instability. There were strong to severe thunderstorms across Arkansas last night. All that moisture, all that instability being pushed into our area as we go through the morning. So scattered thunderstorms, eventually south to southwest winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour, mid 70s. And then we're looking at those highs today, upper 70s, right around 80. We'll have that pause in activity this afternoon. More isolated thunderstorms by the late afternoon, early evening out there. They'll clear out pretty quickly, as do our skies. And we'll be clear tonight into the 50s, maybe some upper 40s out there. Not bad heading into the weekend, maybe a stray shower or two Sunday, and then more thunderstorm chances as we head into next week. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
You're about to meet an 18-year-old celebrating her graduation, but it's not a graduation from high school or college or even from a master's program. Dorothy Tillman just earned her doctorate. Brenda Lipensky has that story.
At just 18 years old, Dorothy Tillman has accomplished so much.
Got my associates going on 11 and my bachelor's going on 13, my master's at 15.
And today she's made it to walk the stage, earning her doctoral in behavioral health. Dorothy hasn't just accomplished multiple degrees, she's also started a leadership institute where she teaches kids in Chicago and West Africa about science, technology, engineering, art, and math.
I never really thought that this would be like what it turned into, but once I started, getting into higher education, I kind of just, every time I completed something, I thought like, what's next? And now I'm here.
Hoping to use all she's learned to make a difference.
I want to find a way to kind of bridge that and start putting maybe integrated behavioral health into schools so people can start learning about such an important thing a lot younger.
Grateful she was able to find an online program through ASU that supported her goals and hoping to cheer her classmates on, no matter what they set to accomplish.
Normal if, you think you have it figured out and then you find out shortly after that that may not be the case. It happens like a lot throughout life and it's just like a part of the process. And to not forget that as you're going through it, I think would be a good thing to remember.
And a woman from South Dakota is hitting a big milestone today. She's turning 100 years old and her family and friends are planning a huge celebration for her. Zeta Jones has more from Rapid City.
Smiles and peaches.
She always says that.
Get my good side.
Patricia Ruth Roosh is getting ready to celebrate a major milestone with her friends and family from all over the country. Born on May 8th, 1924, Pat is set to turn 100 years old this coming Wednesday.
I'm surprised I'm going to make it to 100 because I never dreamed I'd live that long.
Roosh says her greatest achievement in life has been raising her wonderful family and teaching, which she did for 30 years. Despite reaching the century mark, she is surrounded by youthful energy thanks to her great-grandchildren who keep her on her toes.
That's what I said, they'd either kill me or keep me young. And it's never dull. And they take care of me. If I go up or down the steps, they want to hold my hand and help me.
Reflecting on her milestone birthday, she gives those wanting to live a longer life tips on how to live until 100.
Live a clean life, don't drink or smoke. I never smoked, I never drank. That might have helped. Maybe a frozen daiquiri once or twice in my life.
Today, Roosh will mark her big birthday. Stick around, we'll be right back.
Hi, Phil Swift here for Flex Call.
The KOAM Skywatch Weather Team, here for you every time.
Well, some rescue kittens turned out to be pups, fox pups that is. It's kitten season, which means animal shelters are seeing lots of stray kittens in neighborhoods across the country. In Phoenix, one Good Samaritan found what they thought was a litter of kittens behind their shed and brought them into the Arizona Humane Society. The organization examined the babies and quickly determined the animals were actually fox pups. The pups were transferred to the Southwest Wildlife Conservation Center. The gray foxes will be rehabilitated and released back into the wild. Animal experts remind the public that leaving wild animals with their mothers gives them the best chance for survival. P.F. Chang's is offering more than just flowers for your mom this Mother's Day. The Asian fusion chain restaurant is selling fortune cookie flower bouquets. The one-of-a-kind bouquet includes 12 fortune cookies that come in a range of colors. Inside the cookies are a mix of heartfelt and comedic fortune messages. Fans looking to treat their mom to something new this year can purchase the bouquet for a limited time only for $39.99.
I was unaware that there was a kitten season. This is news to me. I've had cats. I love cats. I was unaware that there's a season for kittens. I have learned something today. We also are keeping an eye out. We have an alert day today, strong to severe thunderstorms. Take a look at this guy up here in Anderson County. In the last 20 minutes, this thing went from just a small shower to a pretty good-looking thunderstorm. Not strong or severe at this point, but it is an indication as to the instability that is rolling into the area. And we've got that moisture and instability overspreading southeast Kansas now. So this is one of what is expected to be a handful of thunderstorms that will begin to develop across southeastern Kansas within the next hour or so. And they're expected to become strong to severe rather quickly. And so we're going to keep a close eye on additional. Now we have a severe thunderstorm warning for that particular storm running until 6:15. So it is intensifying rapidly. And I want to remind you, this storm really flared up within the last 15 to 20 minutes. So this severe thunderstorm warning into Anderson County will run until 6:15 this morning. And again, we're expecting additional development back across southeastern Kansas as we go through the morning. And we're expecting storms like that to flare up rather quickly. We do have that chance for strong to severe thunderstorms today. We have that elevated tornado threat, and then enhanced hail risk and an enhanced wind risk out there with the potential for very large hail and wind gusts greater than 75 miles an hour. So alert day today, highs around 80. We're going to clear out by this evening, and then we'll look pretty good heading into the weekend with more storms next week. We'll keep an eye on that storm and additional development and be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Stream KOAM News now on the TV app, available for iOS and